Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Hobart begins now.
Good evening. A hard sell is facing the Treasurer, with unions, business and a leading economist calling out yesterday's budget for failing to tackle the state's problems. While unions are decrying measures they say will gut the public sector, Tasmania's top economist, who's also examining plans to offload government businesses, says there's no pathway for getting our finances back on track.
With spiralling debt and a massive deficit, the government's plans for the economy were bound to be a hard sell to a room full of business leaders. But the Treasurer's toughest crowd on the first stop of his budget roadshow was outside.
What do we want? Public services! When do we want it? Now!
Public sector workers taking a stand against 2,500 job cuts, efficiencies and possible GBE sales, which aim to improve the state's finances.
It has just created incredible fear and uncertainty for workers, the thousands of workers that could be impacted.
As more stakeholders weigh in on the government's fiscal blueprint, the Property Council says there's not enough in it to lift housing supply and help first home buyers.
The government's taking on its own mission impossible. What we're seeing is a severe housing shortfall, and this budget does very little to get us back on track.
While at the second stop of Guy Barnett's tour, Tas farmers believe they've been left behind with a lack of funding for fresh projects.
They're concerned about new strategic items that really need addressing for the industry's future.
Putting the Treasurer in a rock and a hard place as he tries to balance the books.
I, as Treasurer, back in the budget 100%. We believe we've got the balance right.
But leading economist Saul Eslake isn't convinced.
The budget did not take any concrete steps towards improving Tasmania's increasingly dire financial position.
Renewing his calls for raising revenue or spending cuts.
If you go down that path of spending without thinking about how you're going to pay for it, the inevitable result will be, as it has been, ever increasing levels of debt.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
The state's largest transport infrastructure project is almost ready to welcome traffic. The Bridgewater Bridge officially opens to the public on Sunday, and 7 Tasmania News was given an exclusive walkthrough. But before driving across, Tasmanians are being invited to mark the milestone on foot.
5 years in the making, and with more than 120,000 tonnes of structural cement, the Bridgewater Bridge is now standing at a grand 16.2 metres.
This is a real source of pride for all Tasmanians, particularly, of course, the 1,000 people in construction that worked on the bridge, the local Bridgewater community.
The $786 million mega project officially opening this weekend.
This is something we've been working very hard on for 5 years now, from the project's implementation through to now actually seeing it in built form.
An engineering marvel transforming the Bridgewater area. More than 1,000 people have worked on it for a total of 900 construction days, pouring an estimated 43,000 cubic metres of concrete across the 1.2 kilometre deck.
It's been a huge opportunity both for myself and the other members of our team to work on such a monumentous project.
Better connecting communities across both sides of the River Derwent, linking the Brooker and Midland highways, hoping to cut travel times for the estimated 22,000 daily commuters.
So obviously people will be aware of the congestion. The existing bridge is only 60 kilometres an hour, one lane each way.
Now an 80 kilometre speed limit with 2 lanes in each direction, as well as a shared path for cyclists and pedestrians.
It will also improve our freight network and make us more competitive in terms of industry.
While it may look empty now, come Sunday, Tasmanians will get the chance, like me, to walk across the bridge before making way for traffic on Monday. Community festivities kick off at 10 a.m. with live music and food to celebrate the official opening.
There'll still be finishing touches. There'll be remedial actions needed over the course of the next 2 weeks or so.
Rebecca Gadaneris, 7 Tasmania News.
The winners of the Legislative Council elections have officially been sworn in at declaration ceremonies today. Independent Meg Webb and Labor's Luke Edmonds comfortably holding on to their seats after last weekend's vote, surrounded by family, friends and colleagues.
The community have spoken really clearly. They've said they support an independent representative in the upper house. They want to see this government held to account.
My priorities remain what I talked about through the campaign, because that's what people have just endorsed me to keep talking about. So transport's a huge issue on the Eastern Shore. Getting a roof over as many people's heads as possible.
Independent Casey Hiskett was also successfully elected in the northern seat of Montgomery, previously held by his mother, Leonie Hiskett. Back home, and this attempted smash and grab was missing the grab as a hapless would-be thief struggled to break into the West Launceston Shell early this morning. After failing on his first attempt to smash the door, he tries again with a run-up but still can't break a hole big enough to fit through. Scurrying away while leaving behind substantial damage. The service station has been targeted several times since last year. Cooler temperatures have seen a drop in visitor numbers to the state, according to a new report from the Tasmanian Hospitality Association. April saw a nearly 12% decline in hotel occupancy compared with record-breaking numbers in March. But with more than 77% of rooms booked, it's still an improvement on the same time last year. The THA says the figures highlight the need for continued investment in off-season events. With winter officially arriving this weekend, Tasmanians are being urged to take crucial steps to keep their loved ones safe. To launch this year's Home Safety campaign, the Tasmania Fire Service is going back to basics in the classroom.
These little minds learning a big message with life-saving potential.
I know that you should install a smoke alarm in every bedroom because it could be dangerous if you don't. Or when the smoke goes into the smoke alarms, the little sensor beeps.
Grade 3 at Lindisfarne Primary getting a special visit from the TFS, teaching these little learners about prevention and protection.
We absolutely rely on primary age students going home and educating their families as well. That's how we implement change in Tasmanian homes.
Who better than to be our teachers is our little students who are learning, and they can deliver these messages, but then they can also take on ownership of their own safety.
As Tasmanians look to keep warm when outside temperatures plummet, we're being reminded to stay vigilant. Winter is typically the busiest time of year for house fires, with the TFS reporting a significant spike in incidents across the state.
On average, we attend 350 structure fires a year, but that can include houses and other buildings.
So we need to test our smoke alarms. How many times a year? 12. 12 times a year.
These students learning not just about alarms, but about action and what to do if a fire breaks out.
We should get out of bed, crawl and go and yell out fire. You should duck down low and go and call the emergency number, which is 000.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Hobart's Collins Street has been decked out with street-side dining. The development boasting new furniture and greenery, aiming to make the precinct more vibrant. Bike lanes, a zebra crossing and reduced speeds are also part of the transformation.
A place that people want to come rather than a place that people move through. And what we know is that making people come to a place, stay longer and linger longer means that they'll spend more money in business.
Bringing the streets to life a little bit. So I think it's going to have a fantastic impact on all the businesses here.
It's part of a 2-year trial, also aiming to improve safety for people riding and walking along the street. Tasmanians are being encouraged to help cast a red glow over the state. The Paint the Town Red campaign launching to embrace dark mofo festivities and activate tourism over winter. Hobart's Frida Sip and Paint already splashing a crimson hue.
We've got our 2 editions for the Paint Your Town Red. One is Dark Tasman, which is, everyone knows who's local, the bridge lit up red. And we also have down on the wall down there also the Red Winter Solstice.
It's a way of us really embracing the visitors that are coming, letting them know that they're valued and that they're welcome here and that the whole city embraces the feeling of this wonderful festival.
A number of businesses have signed on to light up their buildings in the spirit of the event, which brings in thousands of visitors. A much-loved rocket ship in our northwest is facing an uncertain future as the local council considers whether to keep it. A public vote on what to do with the structure prompting a fierce campaign to save it.
A central feature of Ulverston's Anzac Park, this rocket ship has a proud history.
I've climbed all the way to the top and you felt like the king of the castle up there. It was amazing.
Built and installed by locals in the early 1970s, crane driver Ken Monson was part of the original crew developing the park.
One of the engineers at the time on the council said we're going to turn it all into a car park. So we politely told him what he could do with his car park.
The rocket spot is under threat again as council looks to spruce up the area's parks. A consultation receiving around 400 submissions.
People have told us what they thought. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the analysis of all of that information looks like.
Marion Robertson's worried this piece of Ulverston's history could end up on the scrap heap. So she's spreading the word, encouraging other residents to have their say.
The response for the campaign has been tremendous because they want to see it here and they want to see it stay.
Some of the choices available to voters are to remove the rocket and replace it with a modern equivalent, or to incorporate it into something entirely new. But those come with hefty price tags. The cheapest option is to restore it to its former glory. But that could also have its pitfalls.
Because it doesn't meet current day standards, that restoration might leave us with a piece of equipment that doesn't really truly resemble what we know it to be.
Residents can still make their voices heard. Voting closes tomorrow. Council is expecting to consider the issue in August.
We want it back.
Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
Legendary axeman David Foster is cutting through the north-south divide, joining the Devils campaign to unite the state behind the new team as he visits pubs and clubs, delivering coasters and posters.
I'm a St Kilda supporter. Am I going to be a Devils supporter? They're going to be my second team. But my grandkids can have the opportunity to barrack for a Tasmanian team.
We're a team comprised of all Tasmanians, you, me, all of us. We are the team and we need the energy, I guess, and the support of the entire state to make this team work.
You'll start seeing the posters in venues around the state with the support of the Tasmanian Hospitality Association.
Faced with scoreboard blowouts in the new Premier League structure, the NTFA is launching an audacious plan to level the playing field. It follows an extraordinary meeting of club presidents, putting the game ahead of their own side's interests.
It's been far from a smooth start to the New York NTFA Premier League for most clubs. With triple-digit blowouts a common occurrence, the average scoreboard margin so far this season is 111 points per game. But in a rare show of unity between club presidents, they've hatched a plan to improve the competition.
Not by bringing North Launceston and Launceston back to the pack, but by lifting everybody up to their standards.
The existing $80,000 salary cap will be lifted by $20,000 for Scottsdale and Deloraine. South Launceston and Longford get an extra $10,000, but only for players not already on their roster. Those clubs will also be given extra leeway to sign interstate talent.
We have long had a well-worn pathway to the mainland. Now's the opportunity to reverse that path, bring players back.
The changes won't apply to the NTFA W or Division 1 and 2 competitions.
Most clubs that we're providing support for already have strong women's programs. The changes that we've made, importantly as well, won't have a negative impact on Div 1 because the points are interstate focused.
With the transfer window open for another month, clubs are already recruiting, the new rules staying in force until at least 2027. Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
There'll be some big names missing in the NPL this weekend due to suspensions. Devonport Strikers host Kingborough Lions, and despite sitting 4th on the ladder, the Strikers say the competition is tighter than ever.
It could probably be a little bit better, but overall we're tracking pretty well and just looking for a few more wins this middle half of the season.
Just 3 points separate the top 2 in the WSL, with second placed South Hobart chasing consistency.
Our form hasn't been bad and we've been winning games, but it's just a matter of
from the first whistle all the way through for a full 90 minutes, having that consistency.
They'll take on the undefeated Devonport Strikers this Saturday at Valley Road.
Good evening. Hobart, Launceston and Burnie all 17 today. Devonport reached 18. Friendly Beaches also saw 18, St Helens 17, 16 on Flinders and at Smithton, Low Head and Ouse, King Island and Grove 15, 14 in Strawn and 11 in Lyweni. Low cloud was seen about the west, far south and Bass Strait Islands today, but it remained mostly clear elsewhere. Low cloud also pushed onshore across Victoria, while cloud lies over eastern Queensland and northeastern New South Wales. Tomorrow, high over Victoria will extend a ridge over central and eastern Australia. West-northwesterly winds across the west and south, increasing to 35 knots in western waters. Southwesterly swells peaking to 4 metres in the south. A strong wind warning has been issued for coastal waters tomorrow between Wineglass Bay to Southeast Cape. And a frost warning returns for the central north and Midlands. 15 and cloudy in Hobart tomorrow, Medina and Oatlands both 13. You might be chipping ice off the windscreen in Launceston tomorrow, 15 the high after an overnight low of 0 degrees. Some cloudy in Devonport, 15 also. A frosty start in Lyweni with 10 degrees. Partly cloudy in Burnie, 15, a shower or 2 in Strawn, 13. Much the same in Marrawal with 15 degrees also. St Helens, cloudy, 15 also. Partly cloudy in Swansea, 16. Similar conditions in Orford with 15 expected. Forecast for Sunday, areas of morning inland frost and perhaps some fog followed by partly cloudy conditions. Showers about the west and south on Monday extending statewide throughout the day. And on Tuesday, showers throughout contracting to the west and south with snow falling above 600 metres later. Here's how conditions are looking across the country tomorrow. Fine in Adelaide, 19. Showery across Brisbane, 21. Another frosty start in Canberra, warming to 16 after an overnight low of just 1 degree. Hobart and Devonport clear, both 10 degrees. It's chilly in Launceston, but clear also with 7. And as we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow night, Lou, enjoy.
And that wraps up your news for this Friday. Thank you for joining us. See you tomorrow. Good night.